Hello everyone, my name is Shiva Haji Ibrahimi. I intend to present a paper with the title of Humanitarian Aid for Wuhan with Crisis Logistics Management Approach. First of all, I'd like to talk about humanitarian logistics and their problems at the beginning of my presentation. Then I'll talk about critical factors which should be considered accordingly. After that, my presentation focuses on facts about coronavirus. Then I'll talk about our proposed model to compensate for the damages caused by coronavirus in Wuhan, China. Finally, I represent the best and alternative ways to help Wuhan. Actually, the question is how we can deliver the patient's required goods in a timely manner at the locations. Natural disasters are part of our lives forever, such as earthquake, plane crash, flood, and epidemic diseases. So, humanitarian logistics can be defined as providing immediate assistance to victims and meeting their needs for disaster relief. In emergencies, the primary goal of humanitarian aid is the popular five rights. There are the right amount of aid, which should be delivered to the right people at the right time, in the right place, with the right information and communication. Humanitarian logistics manages whole operations to be sleek and efficient. So, some parameters should be considered in humanitarian logistics, such as being fully flexible, agility, and efficiency. In an emergency, cost opportunity is more critical than cost benefit. It is because the life saving of victims is defined as an opportunity that should not be compromised for the benefit. Besides, humanitarian aid should be applied to large scale with full accountability and efficiency. Irregular demands and unusual constraints are other factors that should be predicted before by simulation of similar disasters. As well as these, there are some terms which should be defined in each disaster. For example, long term strategy perspective, mid term tactical and planning perspective, and short term technical and operational perspective. Also, delivery of products and transportation should be on time, and delay is not acceptable in emergencies. Also, packing and packaging of products should be considered based on current weather to prevent damages. Regarding distribution, there are many methods such as helicopters, drones, trucks, ships, trains, which should be chosen based on the time of delivery as a first aid or second. Finally, Red Crescent and Red Cross forces should have appropriate cooperation in emergencies. Based on United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, between 2002 and 2011, there were 4,130 disasters recorded where more than 1 million people perished and a minimum 1,000 billion US dollars was recorded in losses. In the year 2011 alone, 302 disasters recorded which affected 206 million people and inflicted damages worth a minimum of estimated 366 billion US dollars. So, the combination of humanitarian logistics and supply chain management is challenging issue because of multiple stakeholders such as non-government organizations, United Nations agencies, Red Cross, governmental actors, and so on. The first coronavirus was in Wuhan, China in December 2019, and up to now it spreads quicker than SARS in 2003. Now the Wuhan city is closed by the government to protect people and control coronavirus infection. First of all, we need to calculate the number of infected people, which generally one person will infect two persons according to the data research. If no action is taken, it will be a severe disaster. Under the control of China government, now the infected people are about between 2,000 and 5,000 people in a day. The increasing of infected people makes serious problems for hospitals, medical and health centers due to lack of enough beds and medical equipment to treat those infected people. The number of patients exceeds the capacity of hospitals in a day, as one hospital can usually accommodate around 1,500 patients who need to deal with. This figure shows the increasing number of infected people versus time according to CDC in China on February 12, 2020. The red line is the infected case, which is near 60,000 people. The blue line is possibly infected people, that is more than 13,000 people. And the yellow one shows around 6,000 recovered people. Finally, the black one is more than 1,000 deaths. This figure demonstrates the prediction of the first aids and the daily assistance needed in Wuhan city. Below tables show the number of available and required equipment and also basic needs of Wuhan according to the government data in 30 hospitals. For example, available beds are around 12,000 for infected people, and the number of patients increased to around 50,000 up to February 12. As well as this, Wuhan needs more cube hospitals, doctors, nurses, medical equipment, and some basic needs like food and water urgently. Here, three steps are considered to tackle the Wuhan's problem. First of all, we identify source for goods transportation, then identify transportation systems, and finally, transportation systems are selected in order to priority. When the city is closed, the main problem is how to make a good supply chain for around 11 million people in Wuhan. This is the map of the supply chain for Wuhan city, which has different access by ships, high trains, airplanes, and highway from outside of the city. The first table compares possible modes of transportation such as plane, ship, train, and truck in terms of speed, cost, transmission rate, and the limitation of each to transfer products from outside. And the second one compares the transportation systems in the second period, which train will be selected as the first choice for assistance to Wuhan. In particular, in the first period of the epidemic, the speed criteria had the highest priority and the cost was ignored. Therefore, the airplane was the optimum solution to maximize the transfer speed. In the second period, the cost and the speed were the two factors considered in the optimization problem. The best solution turned out to be the train according to the considered criteria. It is interesting to mention that by considering both factors, ships, trucks, and airplanes represent the alternatives respectively. Thank you so much.